really chooses to develop diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or obesity. It happens despite many good intentions, but most people just don't know how to stop it. Many chronic diseases, including diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, obesity, and even chronic fatigue and chronic pain, are associated with an imbalance of neurotransmitters, hormones, and nutrition. Neurotransmitters are chemicals that carry signals from one nerve ending to another, creating a delicate balance in various areas of our body. They help control mood, energy, and how your body responds to various situations. There are hundreds of neurotransmitters in the body, but most of the function centers around what we call the Big Six. The Big Six are serotonin, GABA, glutamate, dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. Without adequate balance, you don't function well at all. When you mention hormones, people automatically think of giving estrogen to menopausal women or even athletes shooting up on roids. Actually, there are over 100 hormones in the body. They regulate how our bodies function. They help regulate blood pressure, sugar, bone and muscle growth, fat deposition, sleep, sexual arousal and performance, and a variety of other vital functions. Without adequate balance, you have problems in many areas. Nutrition is centered on what we consume as food, drink, and supplement items. The source of our food falls into one of four categories: fats, carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins and minerals. It has been said that proper nutrition is more powerful than any medication on the market. Results of extensive research over the last 4 years have taught us that controlling these chronic diseases is a balance of multiple factors. Rarely are chronic diseases caused by only one thing. It is usually a series of smaller issues that adds up to be one large problem or problems. They may be related, but the relationship may not always be clear. That is why approaches like exercise alone, the latest greatest diet pill, fad diets, or even the HCG diets are unsuccessful in getting the weight off and, more importantly, keeping the weight off and keeping us healthy. We need to look at and correct problems in all areas listed above. Everyone certainly is entitled to his or her own opinions, but not everyone is entitled to his or her own facts. The fact is that patients who are not in a program that supports all of these issues, only about 5% of them maintain an acceptable weight loss at 1 year, and at 5 years the control is almost nil. It is not about how willing you are to lose weight. It is not about how willing you are to lose fat. It is about how willing you are to make lifestyle changes for the rest of your life. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. One breakthrough in research is that now we recognize excess insulin in adults as the fat hormone. We all know we need insulin to control our blood sugar, but insulin in excess promotes fat storage and blocks fat breakdown. Carbohydrates, which include sugars and starches, is the nutrient that causes our insulin levels to elevate the most. The problem is, meal after meal of high carbohydrates eventually fills the storage cells of the muscles and the liver. These make up our stores of easy-to-access energy. When these stores get full, the job of the insulin is still to get the sugar out of the blood and into these cells, but the problem is the cells are full. The cells become more resistant to the insulin. The pancreas sees the blood sugar rising, so it puts out more insulin, and then the cells become more resistant. Eventually, the cell resistance and the insulin levels get to the point that we develop insulin resistance. The continued carbohydrates we eat go directly to fat, where the insulin just locks it in. This is where our metabolism really goes off track. The average American diet is 10% protein, 20 to 30% fat, and 60 to 70% carbohydrates. Is it any wonder that obesity is on the fast rise? Fat in our diets for most of us does not make us fat. Carbohydrates make us fat. So we program our bodies to store energy and not to lose energy. In other words, we store fat and we don't want to burn the fat. Well, what about low-fat foods? Well, typically, when the fat is removed from the food, it has to be replaced by something to make it taste good. That replacement is carbohydrates. What happens then? We just make more fat. Many people think they eat healthy. There's an old story about a family that has a ham for Christmas. Well, they're obviously not Jewish, but anyway, as a mom prepares the ham, she cuts about 3 inches off both ends of the ham before she puts it in the roasting pan. Her daughter standing there watching her asks why on the Christmas ham only she cuts off both ends. The mother responded that she didn't know why, but that's how she learned to cook the Christmas ham from her mom. Well, Grandma was there, so they decided to go ask her. Grandma said she didn't know, but Great-Grandma was there, so let's go ask her. Well, the little old lady looked up at him and said, "I really don't know why you cut both ends off the ham, but I only had a 10-inch roasting pan." The moral of the story is that we learn to eat from our parents, who learn from their parents, and so forth. This is not necessarily any good reasoning behind how we eat. About 80% of people's problems with eating are centered on bread, rice, potatoes, pasta, cereal, crackers, and sugar drinks. These are all carbohydrates. They all raise our insulin levels, and they all cause us to gain fat. Many people, if you ask them, would say a breakfast of Cheerios, whole wheat toast, and a glass of Florida orange juice is a very nutritious meal. Well, they would be wrong. Every one of these products is a carbohydrate. They will all cause fat storage if we continue to eat this way meal after meal. Another interesting point is that for most people, it's not the fat in the diet that raises their cholesterol, it's the carbohydrates. Our bodies are well designed to handle protein, and most of us have no problem with fats. It's the heavy load of carbohydrates in our diet that's the problem. We can actually live without any carbohydrates at all, but we can't live without fats or protein. As a matter of fact, carbohydrates in excess increases chronic inflammation in our bodies and causes increased pain levels and more of a tendency to develop the chronic diseases. Fiber, however, is a carbohydrate we can't absorb. It slows sugar absorption and helps clean us out. About 25 to 30 grams a day is sufficient. Most people consume in the range of 30 to 50 grams of protein a day. You will see that the average man requires 110 to 130 grams of protein every day. The average woman requires in the range of 90 to 110 grams per day. This is not all-inclusive, but represents many of the main groups. Proteins are important for several reasons. Number one, protein feeds muscle, not fat. It's our muscle that gets us from point A to point B, not our fat. Secondly, protein satisfies you. It fills you up and controls your appetite much longer than carbohydrates. Third, it stops carbohydrate cravings. You'll be able to walk right by those donuts in the morning rather than crave them until you eat one or two. Fourth, it helps prevent skin sagging as we lose weight. Nobody wants to lose all the weight and then look like a bag of skin. Not all fruits and vegetables are good for you either. Many fruits have what is referred to as a high glycemic index. That means they contain a lot of sugar, and that sugar raises the level of insulin in our body. Fruits like watermelon can be a problem because the sugar level is not extremely high, but the amount we normally consume at any one time puts our sugar load way over the top. A half a cup of watermelon is okay, but who only eats half a cup? Now you will see fruits that we advise that you not eat because you will gain weight or at least not lose weight. Now that still leaves strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, apples, pears, peaches, and plums. Eat all the other fruits more sparingly and keep it to one serving at a time. The vegetables that cause weight gain are beets, carrots, corn, and vegetable juice. Sugar is made from beets and corns, and they don't put carrot in carrot cake because it's sour. Vegetable juices have a lot of sugars in them, and they also have a high glycemic index. You'll see many protein supplements that are suggested and can be used to help you get the required amount of protein per day. Notice I list protein drinks. This you really need to know and understand. Not all protein drinks are created equal, not even close. Many drinks are designed to be mass gainers. Certainly not the mixture you want if you're trying to lose weight. You cannot tell the quality protein drinks by just looking at the package. you need to know the quality of the protein itself, known as the PDCAS, which stands for protein digestibility, and the corrected amino acid scores of the protein, which basically tells you if you can digest and absorb the protein. This isn't listed on the package. Does the protein have toxic heavy metals in it? Well, if you drink it every day, that really matters. And I'm afraid that that's not listed on the package either. A good protein drink satisfies you for 3 to 4 hours. It stops your cravings for sugar and your energy stays high. You don't get the carbo crash when you have a good quality protein shake, especially in the morning. Note that every ounce of meat, chicken, or fish averages about 7 grams of protein, and an egg has about 6 grams of protein. It's important to know this because you need to count your daily protein intake. So, basically, a 4-ounce chicken breast has about 28 grams of protein. Now, I hear often that weight management is all about calories in and calories out. Well, it's not that simple, not by a long shot. It's about the source of the calories and the effect those calories have on our hormones and neurotransmitters. A poor diet can have disastrous effects on our metabolism and our immune system. What we intend to accomplish is to work with you to develop lifestyle changes. These are changes that will help you to continue to control your weight, metabolism, energy, and give you a good sense of well-being from this point in your life going forward. We will help teach you how to control and take charge of what you do. Your health and happiness is in jeopardy if you continue poor nutrition. We will work as a team, not me chief and you Indian, but as a team to achieve our goals. We don't expect you to make all the changes overnight, but with proper coaching from the staff and myself, correct medications, nutrients, and good nutrition, we can and will obtain the goals we seek. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with you shortly.